All right, so hello everyone. So we are here. We're gonna do a podcast about Renaissance arts. Well, it's not actual podcast. It's actually like you know podcast assignment for our lecture class, Western Cultural Civilization. Join with me, KEISYA, DEVRAN, AZRIEL, SASONGKOJATI, with student ID 123251031, and with my partner Nathan.
And my name is Nathanael Gregory KUMOWAL with the student ID of 123251016. So
Uh,
let's start
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the Renaissance art. So, before we start, I just want to say that I've heard about the Renaissance so many times, especially in college, in class.
Yeah.
But, I feel like I only understand it on the surface. Like, I know it means rebirth, right? And I know it has something like to do with the art and famous people. But honestly, I still don't get it. I don't fully get it. Why it's such a big deal. So today, I'm basically going to, you know, act as someone who's genuinely curious and maybe a little confused. And I'm hoping you can walk me through it in a way that actually makes sense. Well, actually, it's not. Um, I'm not like
So
acting
you
like
don't
I'm
you don't
being.
really get to know it really well
Yeah,
about
it's
Renaissance.
actually real. I'm not
Okay.
honestly, it's real. I don't understand. I still don't understand about Russell arts. You know.
Okay. Well, from your explanation, that's honestly the best way to approach it. I mean, it's because the Renaissance isn't just about memorizing like the arts, like the names of it or the artworks. It's really about like understanding like a huge like shift, like transformation in how people like saw the world. So, like you said, Renaissance means rebirth. And what was being reborn isn't just about the art itself, but it's also like the idea from where we move from ancient Greece to ancient Rome. So people started moving away from the very strict, like religious centered mindset in the Middle Ages and began to focus on more humans and like their emotion and like their abilities and all of their potential that they have. So this shift, it's called humanism, and it's basically the foundation of all Renaissance arts, basically. That's it.
Alright. So humanism. Right? So if humanism is the main idea, I'm guessing like it really changed the way people wrote as well. But what exactly made Renaissance literature different from what came before? Was it just about new topics, or was it like about how they expressed ideas?
That's a really good question because it's actually like both. So before the Renaissance, most literature was heavily focused on like religion or like the moral lessons, like norms and moral that we have in life. And it was often like written in a way that we've in that felt like distant from everyday life. So it's too high end or like too exclusive. But during the Renaissance era, writers began to like explore themes that were much more personal and relatable into our life, like love, beauty, inner conflict, social, political, humans experience, and basically uh the condition that we've been through right now. Like for example, a Renaissance person that is called Dante, he wrote the Divine Comedy, which still deals with religious themes.
I've
Yeah,
already heard about the
the
Divine Comedy.
Divine Comedy. Yeah. It's still like religious themes like heaven and hell, But what makes it different is how personal and it touched your emotion. It's not just about doctrine, it's about like a journey, but both physically and spiritually. And you can really see the human side in that art. And then you have Petrarch, who is often called the father of humanism. So his poetry focus on lots of in love and introspection of each of our souls and stuff, especially when he's feeling towards a woman named Laura. What's important here is that he's not just telling a story, he is actually exploring his own emotion in a very deep and reflective way. And then we have also this person called Boccaccio that takes it even furthermore in the title of, how do I say it? The Decameron, where he actually tells
Ah,
stories about,
Primarily.
yeah, ordinary
Oh,
people
okay.
dealing with like real life situations like that we're currently facing right now. So that shift like from divine focus stories into like more human centered narratives. So it is like what really defines Renaissance literature, basically.
Wow, that's actually makes a lot of sense, especially how everything becomes more personal and more people. That's, I mean, a lot of things happen in real life, especially
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, in this situation. But right now, I'm curious about music because
Music.
I feel like
The music, okay, music.
it's harder to see, the difference compared to literature and painting. Basically, Renaissance is not just
Music.
about painting and social and kind of like that, right? There's a there's a music on it. So what
Mhm.
exactly changed in Renaissance music?
So you said that there's like not much different you see, but music like it's a bit harder to visualize. So that's why it's kind of hard for us to see what Renaissance music is really about. But there's like a lot of changes and it's pretty significant. Like one of the biggest development that happens in Renaissance era, especially in the music, is something called polyphony, which means multiple melodies being played or sung at the same time. Uh, like right now in this like in our era, it's basically like songs or like music that we listen every day. It's basically called polyphony, which is like same melodies, multiple melodies being sing or played at the same time. And before this, music were just very simple. It's there's no like extreme or like layered melodies and stuff. It's just one melody. So, but polyphony composers layers of sounds, which makes the music feel like it's richer and more complex, basically. And there's one more example. Like if we try to shift was the move from purely religious music to like more like secular theme into like more human or more love or social gitu. During like these Middle Ages, most music was created for church, like for religious thing. But in the Renaissance, like if we move to Renaissance, like composers starting to like make music, it's all about love and nature and everyday life. Like for example, like one composer's name Josquin des was known for creating music that was not only technique for advanced, but also for emotionally expressive. So he expressed his feeling towards music in a Renaissance era. While on the other hand, there's a person called Palestrina focused on more sacred, like more holy music. But he brought clarity to balance to it, making it more refined and harmonious, basically. So overall, Renaissance music becomes more expressive and like more layered due to the polyphony phenomenon. Like it shifts away into like a different vibes from simple music into like more complicated, like layered music. like that, basically.
That's a lot of things about music there. I mean, it's like my EP for music right now is basically inspired from Renaissance music, right? I
Yeah,
think that.
There's a lot of Renaissance painting. Yes.
Alright, so, right, okay, speaking about painting, I think this is the part I'm most familiar with, because I've heard like some few Renaissance paintings, such
Yeah.
as, you know, the Mona Lisa, is
The Mona Lisa painting.
part of the Renaissance painting. But even then, sorry, I feel like I only recognize the famous name, not the actual techniques or why their work was so revolutionary. So, what exactly made Renaissance painting so different from earlier ones?
So Renaissance painting is, of course, like way different from what we see from the Greek paintings, from the like the earlier ages painting. Because the difference is it's not just about like subjective, if the meaning was this and blah blah blah, it's what about the shapes and stuff, but also like how the artists like the techniques that they use. So one of the most important innovation was linear perspective, which allowed artists to create the illusion of depth, like the length on a flat surface. So this means instead of like looking like just a flat symbolic drawings or like two-dimensional only, they can also like create more something more 3D, like three-dimensional, like more it looks real life, which actually like objects appearing more like closer or like maybe farther away. Artists also like study human body, so that's why if you're like seeing Renaissance art, there's like a lot of like human body painting, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, also part of Renaissance painting.
yeah,
Okay.
that's like so. If you see like there's like a lot of body painting, that's basically in the Renaissance era. So they actually not just randomly paint human body into a canvas, but they carefully also study the anatomy of the body, which like allowed them to paint bodies in like a more realistic and like natural way. For example, do you know Leonardo da Vinci?
Yes, I know Leonardo da
Yeah,
Vinci.
the most famous painters in the world.
Oh,
She paint a lot of paintings, like for example, the Mona Lisa painting. Yeah,
oh,
that you talked before.
mm,
So he actually not just studied to paint, but he also like study the anatomy of a person. So he studied the anatomy to understand how like muscles and bones and like human bodies um connect with each other, and he studied it to make it like a perfect painting of a human representation of human body. Then you have Michelangelo, of course, one of also the most famous. He brought the power of emotions through his work, especially in the Sistine Chapel ceiling. So have you heard of like Sistine Chapel before?
Sistine Chapel. Honestly, I don't ever heard it.
So Sistine Chapel, in my opinion, I've seen it before. It's like a painting in like the ceiling. There's like
I
gods
see.
and goddesses like paintings. They're like standing in the clouds and the
Yeah,
where it's like parties and stuff. For it's just basically a painting of gods and goddesses having, parties and stuff in the painting of the roof of like Romans uh old classic buildings like that. The one that's really
Mm,
famous, I think it's in Italy or something, or France. So he is the painters of the Sistine Chapel. His figure is more dynamic and there's a lot of movement. And I believe there's like also one person called Raphael is also known for recreating a balance and harmonious compositions. Like the School of Athens. I have no idea what is this, the School of Athens basically. And
yeah,
where is like everything is perfectly arranged. So probably it's like, perfectly structured painting. So Renaissance isn't just a normal painting, basically, but it's like a deep connection between emotional and also like art. And it's also used the scientific technique, like study the human anatomy, bodies, like that.
I don't see that. Well, I just knew that this one. Oh,
Wait,
sorry,
I can see.
I forgot that I'm using the background here. I maybe you cannot see this
What is it
picture.
like?
Wait. I'm gonna turn off
Okay,
the.
your
Okay.
background?
All right. Yeah. So wait. So this one. Maybe you know this
Mhm.
one.
Oh yeah, I know the
I just knew
painting.
that this is part of the Renaissance.
Yeah, it's part of also the Renaissance art. I think, as I know, it's a painting of the hands of God and Adam. I think,
Okay.
I think that's the painting of um Adam and God. Like their hands
Mm,
like almost touch, I think.
yeah. And then yeah, we all knew about that.
Yeah, Mona Lisa, the most famous
A lot
painting.
of people knew it, right? And yeah,
Mhm.
also this one. And also in Italian.
Oh yeah,
Maybe you
this I don't know, I forgot who the person's head's name, but it's actually pretty famous too. I think
is it
I don't know.
Saint
His
John?
head is like chopped off.
Yeah, I know. Is it Saint John or I don't really remember.
I actually don't remember. There's a story about it and it's pretty
Yeah,
tragic. I think it's like
yeah,
some
just
kind of
yeah,
famous.
a little bit, you know, I, I don't know, it's real horror or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had wow. So yeah, and then what else? Oh yeah, you already mentioned like I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. Okay, everything becomes more realistic and more
hmm
focused on. Does it apply to sculpture as well?
Hmm. I feel like it is. There's like connection about and also an explanation why Renaissance art is like more human. It's like more realistic or like focused on human. And it is indeed, yes, there's like patterns to it. So Renaissance sculpture is like a perfect example of how artists combine art with scientific observation. So artists use science to make art. So sculpture
Oh,
was like heavily inspired by Greek gods and Roman statues. Have you seen the statue of Julius Caesar?
yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
statue of it's like it was sculptured in the Renaissance era, which also emphasized ideal like proportion of like natural movements. So if you see like Greek gods doing like weird move, like something random move, it's basically because of the natural movement that happens in that era. And it's just like they don't just copy the uh the posture of anything, but they actually like improve more on the sculpture and adding more like a detail of emotions to it. So there's also a sculpture artist named Donatello. He is one of the first person to create sculpture that truly like lifelike. So it was like a real person that's being sculptured, especially his version of David. And then we also have Michelangelo took it on another level of his own sculpture for David and shows an incredible attention to detail where like muscles and like posture and expressions. Well,
Yeah.
it's just not just a statue basically. It's just like a person that is like frozen in time, you know? Let's like use froze a person. So this like focus on realism and anatomy of a person's body. So Renaissance does like uh value the anatomy of human body, not just physically form, but also their emotion, their expression. That's why.
Okay, I get it. A lot of things about sculpture. So, what what do I want to ask again? Oh, I think about architecture. So, what
Oh,
about it?
architecture.
I feel like buildings don't change as obviously as paintings or sculpture, right? So,
Yeah.
what made Renaissance art architecture unique? Like I know a few Renaissance architecture of buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly the name, but I know the what do you call it, the shape, the building. I
You can
know a few.
you
I
can
really
like maybe at Renaissance it's is it Versailles or uh Pisa
don't.
Tower? I actually forgot.
Oh, so the Pisa Tower part of the Renaissance? I
Oh
just knew it.
no, actually no, it's not actually. No, I'm just like
Oh,
also like thinking
oh, I
the
know the Pisa
building.
Tower is from Rome, Italy.
Is it like still standing now or
I think it's standing now. Wait,
okay. While you
I'm gonna.
search it, I I am going to explain about the Renaissance effect on architecture. So the changes in architecture from Greece and Rome era, there's like very intentional and also like noticeable, especially when in terms of design properties and like the principles and stuff. Renaissance architects focus on symmetry, proportion, and balance. So there's like three different main thing that really affects the Renaissance art, especially in architecture, which means it is inspired by the classical Roman architecture, and they believe that the beauty of Roman architecture itself could be like achieved into like huge mathematical harmony. So instead of use not just use science but also use math in like buildings and architectures. Like for example, there's a person called Filippo Brunelleschi who designed the dome of the Florence Cathedral, which was a huge engineering achievement at the time actually. So it wasn't just a visual impressive, but it was also like structurally innovative because no one can build like that in the era basically. But Filippo Brichelli does it, and you have like Battista Alberti, who combine classical ideas with modern needs, which also creating like they were both functional and aesthetically pleasing building. So Renaissance architecture reflects that some ideas that we're talking about, like order, balance, and like deep appreciation of like a classical knowledge that happens before, but making more not hard, not something more extra, but something more exquisite like that.
Yeah, yeah. I've already
Have you
searched.
searched it? Okay,
Yeah, but obviously I searched it through my laptop because oh man, I ran out of battery in my phone.
it's okay.
So maybe I'm gonna share screen.
Yeah,
Wait,
you can share screen.
uh, wait. I think you disable the screen share. Maybe you
The
can
what?
set it. Maybe you disable the screen sharing. Just I cannot
Oh yes,
screen share.
sorry. Wait.
You can set it.
Um,
Like some of them from Italy.
okay, have you like done it? You can.
Okay, wait a
Okay.
second. Wait. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, I still cannot do it. Oh man. Oh, I still cannot do it. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, okay, I did have trouble or something like that. Maybe it's from my
Yeah, I
laptop.
think I haven't like also
The it's not, it's like church. The name is maybe you know the name. It's called
cathedral or something.
yeah, kind of that. It's
Okay.
called Saint Peter's. Wait, Saint Peter's Basilica. Have you ever
Saint
heard of it?
Peter's, what? Saint Peter's.
Peter's Basilica.
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
Saint Peter's.
Basilica. Basilica. It's more. It's a big church. I almost like the shape almost like a mouse, but it's not a mouse. It's
Oh, Saint
it's
Fatik, is it this?
yeah, like
Oh,
that.
okay. Saint Peter Basilica. Oh, it's
Yeah.
actually a nice. Yeah, it is in.
That's also from Italy. I remember that. That's also from Italy.
Yeah,
Same
it's
like
Italy. It's
Pisa
from.
Tower,
Yeah,
as you
it
mentioned
was like
earlier.
design.
Yeah. Well, I think in Italy there are a lot of
Okay.
you know, like Renaissance building. There are a lot of
Yeah.
maybe the Pisa Tower is part of Renaissance. Maybe it
Yeah,
could be.
maybe also.
Just based on my knowledge, Italy there are a lot of building, the historic building. I think
Yeah.
all of them part of Renaissance or part of Renaissance. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, as an artistic and classical, something like that. And yeah,
This is, I
that's
think,
just all. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
all
we are
my.
running out of time for our Zoom.
Wait a minute. Where, what minute? How many
So
minutes?
my Zoom is not pro. As you can see, we only have 8 minutes left, so we gotta go
Okay,
fast.
okay, I'm gonna. Okay, I'm
So
gonna.
I
Sorry.
think it's okay. It's okay. It's totally fine.
So,
It's Zoom just being
uh,
too greedy. So next,
around 20 minutes.
no, it's okay. I can like still edit.
So, well, that's sounds amazing, but still wondering why did it happen at specific time? Like, what allowed all these changes to take place?
hmm So it's a very important question because of the Renaissance didn't just happens like a random in a random time, but there's like one major factor called patronage, where wealthy families like the Medici supported artists financially. Like this allowed artists to focus on their work without worrying
Yeah.
any survivals and stuff. Especially like the Catholic Church also play a big role by commissioning this art, especially like paintings and sculptures and stuff. So another key factor was the spread of humanism, so which changed the education, encouraged people to think critically, observe the world basically, and just explore new ideas. So they eventually contribute into like developments in science in the modern world, basically, and not just focus on religion. That's it.
Well, honestly, that's awesome. Honestly, after hearing all of this, I feel like the Renaissance wasn't just about time. It was really about changing how people think and see themselves. Like, people started realizing that human life, emotions, and creativity actually matter.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why the Renaissance is considered such a big turning point in history. It didn't just like produce beautiful artworks and stuff, but it's changed the perspective of human being. So it encouraged people to like explore, find new ideas and question and create whatever they've never done before, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, from all of your explanation, I feel like you are the grandfather of Renaissance.
No,
Because you
I just
know,
I just love Renaissance, basically.
yeah. And I guess that's why we still talk about it today because its influence is still everywhere,
Mhm.
especially literature, music, and even how we think.
Yeah, so the Renaissance just stay in the past, but it shapes the future like right now. So
Ah, yeah, that's exactly. So, what time are you wanting to get right now?
it's
Is it
9 minutes.
20?
We have 5 minutes left.
No,
Uh,
no, for the recording.
what?
For the
Oh,
recording, what?
it doesn't show, so I think we can just maybe stop now
Yeah,
because we're
I hope
talking a
this is
lot.
more than 20 minutes
Yeah.
because the assignment will ask for 20 to 30 minutes. So I
Yeah.
hope it's more than 20 minutes. So, well, yeah, I think I finally understand why it's such a big deal right now. So, yeah, thanks a lot, Nathan. I,
Yeah. Thank you.
for now, and know everything about
Yeah.
the song. There are a lot of it, there are a lot of it, but we still learn about it in our lecture.
Okay.
So, yeah,
And also
thank you
thanks
so much.
for
Oh,
the questions. Thanks for the
yeah.
questions. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Okay. Thanks
you.
for explaining it so clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.